Good morning. How's it going, folks? Your favorite sorcerer with another video. I have these groups on Telegram. In one of those groups, I teach I talk about money magic, and in another group, I talk about psychic seduction, seduction in general. It's called the psychic. Um, it's the seduction alchemy lab. Okay. Yesterday, I received a question there, which actually got me thinking. You know, the question was along the lines of, um, I get matches on dating apps, but they kind of put me into the category of, I don't know, the provider, the reliable, boring guy, so to speak, and I just want to have my fun, and I want to just, you know, have bitches here and there, and I don't want to settle down right now. At least that's how I interpreted that question, and of course I already answered in that group. But that question really got me thinking, um, because that's that goes very deep, actually. And as you can imagine, I have a perspective on that. That's not just physical. A lot of people talk about this stuff when it comes to attraction, seduction, all these things in terms of physical attributes, even sums of money, like the you gotta be like 6-figure guy, 6 foot tall, 6-inch penis, and all of these things, which when you look at actual reality, well, some of those are accurate, some of those are valid, but listen, there are guys that are fucking broke and they get more pussy than multimillionaires, guaranteed, you know. Not to say that money's a bad thing. Of course, you should. You should be able to take care of a woman that you're with, of course. That's always a good idea. But nowadays, women make their own money, too. They can't survive without, like, survival on a pure survival basis. A lot of women don't need men anymore. So that is canceled. So the point is, I'm not completely saying that these old roles are outdated, because that's not even the point. You see, people have their own individual living situations, their own individual life design. Obviously, we don't live in the wild anymore. It's not like a hunter and gatherer at times where things are purely evolutionary psychology and all these things. But I mean, these things still play a role. But what I'm going to give you today, what I'm going to talk about, is my personal kind of like thesis on this whole thing, which is seduction. And my worldview is not purely physical. Actually, the physical is a byproduct of something greater that is taking place. So this is how I see reality. And hopefully, what I'm going to share with you today is going to open your eyes to a little bit of a different dynamic. Because later that day, I seduced one of the hottest women that I've ever had sex with, a Colombian woman. Look, I mean, when it comes to types of women, I really can't decide. I like all kinds of flavors. I have preferences. There are certain types that I don't like and all that stuff. But generally, I have my spectrum of what I find attractive in terms of looks. It's pretty wide. Okay. But I gotta say, certain regions have a lot of, like, I think the frequency, at least in my personal experience, I can only speak from my personal experience. Certain regions of the world have a lot of beautiful women, and I think South America has a very high frequency of beautiful women, right? Hey, it's a question of taste, all right? No offense to anyone. So it got me thinking, because I was like primarily I was doing that psychically. There was not that much speaking there. I had her French was non-existent. Her English very broken. Obviously she doesn't speak German. Right? And she primarily spoke Spanish, and my Spanish is poquito, you know. It's not very good. I understand things here and there, you know, but we were speaking like a mix of, you know, broken English, some Spanish that I could get, but it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. So, so I'm going to give you my idea because, you know, most of this is energetic. So yes, of course we were talking, but most of it was energy. So here's the thing. Reality is obviously multidimensional. It's first and foremost energy, right? So a lot of guys approach this world with a certain frame. Frame is first of all an energy field, you know? Frame is a term that we could explain as an interpretation that you put on reality, which changes the meaning of a certain situation. You see, and this is not just something psychological, even though most people use that in a psychological sense. You know, they reframe something so it looks different and takes on a different meaning. But that's not purely psychological. Actually, a frame is an energy field that you carry around you. When somebody falls into your frame, it means that your energy field has overwritten theirs. Okay? This is very important to keep in mind. So the way most men, the overwhelming majority of men, I actually can put a percentage of that on that. I would say 96 to 97% of men operate in this world based on a frame that they want to be accepted by, first of all, women, the world, society. They're still good little boys that want to be accepted, meaning they want to be absorbed into a larger frame. They look for validation from the outside world. Whether that, listen, this applies, I'm 40 years old. There are still 40-year-old little boys out there that want to be accepted. They still want to be validated. They make money so that they can status signal, which means please accept me for this. Please accept me for that. So these guys have not found themselves yet. I keep talking about purpose. This is, by the way, once again, it's 96 to 97% of men. They don't know who the fuck they are. That's the first point. They don't know who the fuck they are. And they seek identity through objects or through being accepted by a woman or by women in general. And they hope that that gives them that feeling of being complete or being something or someone. Now, look at this energetically, and you will see how pathetic that approach to life is, actually. It's like this, this small, unstable, shaky, leaky energy field that is moving through the world and is trying to protect itself from the feeling of being rejected or not accepted. And then you have this all by itself. Listen, most women don't have stable energy fields either. They're like, most women are not designed to have that, okay? Because once again, come back to that idea of the moon and the sun. The masculine principle is the sun. It's supposed to be the gravitational pull. And the moon, the lunar principle, which is the feminine in this context, is supposed to be attracted to the sun and to revolve and move within the gravitational pull, meaning the energy field of the sun. So she's supposed to be absorbed into your frame. You know, this is the correct approach for seduction and for attraction. If you want a woman to attract you, or if you want a woman to be attracted to you, she must fall into your frame. She must be absorbed into your energy field. You understand? So based on that, you will understand that the approach of most men is they got it all backwards, you know, and the reason for that is they don't have the energy to generate a gravitational pull like that. What they have is a shaky self-image that is completely dependent on outside validation. They're boys, they're not men. A man doesn't need outside validation in order to know what he's supposed to do. He doesn't need the validation. He could stand against thousands of people that tell him he's wrong. He's still going to do it because he has the gravitational pull to be stable enough to do that. He's not being pulled in by other people's frames. He has his own frame and stays in it. You see? Now, depending on your level of intelligence, of course, you're going to interpret that differently because there are, once again, there are going to be some retard fucking idiots. They're going to be like, oh, okay, so they're going to try to fake it, you know, like I just have to be like solid and never change my opinion and just, got to be a really, really solid Trump supporter, right? Regardless of what evidence I see in the world, I'm going to stick to my belief. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's an energy thing, man. It's energetic and has to do with your purpose and your daemon. You know, in a magical context, that's a daemon. But you have to have found your place in the world, in this universe. This is when you're solid like that, you can generate a gravitational pull that can not only attract women, but everything else that you want. Okay, so let me take a step back. So most men don't have that. So they move through the world. They have leaky, shaky, unstable energy fields. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to be absorbed into other energy fields. So look at this woman that is not designed to have an energy field that absorbs. But you know what she enjoys? Because if the feminine is designed to destroy male energy fields that are weaker than hers. So she will enjoy shooting you down, not from a sadistic point of view. That's not what I'm saying. Like, of course, there are women, especially if they're hurt or, but most women don't enjoy being mean to you. That's not what I'm saying. All right. Even though some of them exist, yes, but it's not the majority of women that like to be mean to you. That's not true. Of course, they have empathy. They don't like to hurt you or anything. But the problem is that, look at nature again. Look at nature. They're designed to swallow you, to destroy you, if that makes sense, okay? And that is not the correct dynamic. So most men have shaky, unstable energy fields, and they approach the energy field of the woman, and everything that they say is filtered through this energy of please accept me, please look what I have, can you please validate me. That's basically it. So they're seeking acceptance into their energy field. This is weird. And that speaks to the boy psychology because, a boy is absorbed in the feminine warmth and he receives all this love from his mother, and she's his protection. She's his validation, a little boy, of course. And that's why I'm saying, that's what I actually said in that group. What's necessary to generate this type of energy is you need to be a man, which comes after a masculine initiation, which is not one event. It's essentially you need to go through the dark night of the soul and many, many other things that turn you into a man, that change your energy into an actual man, a masculine man. And most men never go through that. Like I said, 96 to 97%, which is my estimation, which is based on solid data and observation, never go through that. They're followers their entire life. They never turn into men. And so very, very few people actually carry that type of energy. So the point is you need to be able to develop an energy field that pulls her in. And then the correct dynamic will unfold, So you talk about the bad boy or, these guys that actually can get laid, the guys that get women, the guys that women are fascinated by, and they, once again, they point out these external things. Oh yeah, he's tall, he has muscles, all of these things. Yeah, look, I'm not saying that these things don't work. Of course, if you're tall, if you're good looking, if you have muscles, of course, it's going to be easier. But if you're not solid, the woman's she's designed by nature to test you, and she's gonna put you in, she's gonna turn you into little pieces if you're not solid. If your energy field, once again, is not strong enough to pull her in and to it has to be stronger than hers, essentially. Okay. And she's going to test you from the first interaction, even the energy. You know what they do to us? You know, they have this frame up. It's an energy, this frequency that they say now, like don't talk to me or leave me alone. Like this, we call that bitch shield, right? It's an energy. You can feel that. They push you away. They push you away. It's all a test, man. It's all a test. This is all taking place energetically. But the correct way to do that is you pull in. You override that. Not violently, but just through pure presence. The gravitational field of the moon has no chance against the gravitational field of the sun. Regardless of what's going on in the atmosphere of the moon, she could have, you know, I know that the moon doesn't necessarily have storms and all that stuff, right? But imagine the moon had an atmosphere and there's like a storm going on and lightning bolts and all that stuff. Like, who cares, you know? Let her test the strength of your field, but just by being in your presence. And she will try to take shots at you. She will try to test for coherence. She will try to test for, oh, is he really that confident? You know, congruence. That's what she's going to test for. You know, is what you say congruent with your, with the image that you're portraying? You know, and this has very little to do with performance. In reality, ideally, what you want to do is you want to expose her to your energy, and you want to stay kind. You want to stay kind. You don't want to go into a frequency of arguing or debating or any of that. What you do is you stay kind. You stay in kindness, because please understand, you're here. The bottom line is, as a man, you have to protect the feminine. Of course, you have to protect the woman. That's what you're there for. You know. Once again, it's multidimensional, spiritually, biologically, and all these things. Right? A lot of people say that the woman is there to protect you spiritually. As a man, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe that you are supposed to, once again, this is like abstract, but why these opposites exist is for the continuation of existence in life. The feminine energy is extremely, extremely precious, and it's the womb within the seed of life can grow once again. But in order to be able to do that, in order for her to soften enough to accept the seed of life, she needs to feel safe enough. And that is first and foremost an energetic thing. Spiritually, once again, the physical will just follow. It's the energy, it's the mind, it's the emotions, and then the body follows automatically. And the safety starts in our energetically. You see? So for the feminine, in order to feel safe enough to open up, to soften, and to become a womb, metaphorically speaking, she needs to feel like this energy field that she's walking in is strong enough to handle everything that she can't handle and more. You gotta be solid. You gotta be grounded. All of the stuff that they talk about. Oh, if she's actually a little bit aware, she's gonna say things like, "Oh, I want him to make me feel grounded. I want to feel safe. I want this and that and the other." Nowadays, most of these bitches talk about money. Like, show me your bank account. I don't know whose fault that is. Really, I don't even know, and I don't want to generalize once again, right? But yeah, of course, money plays a role. But that's once again, it's safety, it's protection, all these things, right? But I tell you, if money is not a solution, because regardless of how much money you have, if there's a guy that gives her a better feeling, she's gonna want to be with him. You know, there are plenty of rich guys that get nothing, no play at all. Right? So the point that I'm making is, because that was also a question, at least implied in that group. It was, you know, what do I need to do in order to have fun and all that stuff? What do I need to be, or rather, no, what do I need to do exactly? And the sequence in the universe is be comes before doing, and then it's having, you know, and most people focus on the doing and the having, but they never focus on the being, you see. And what I'm talking about here is the beingness that you need to have. You need to be a certain individual. And that is not being a copy of this or that or that or this and that and the other. You need to, first and foremost, be aligned with your purpose. In magic, we call that your daemon. And you need to live for that or from that. This is what gives you this huge energy field. Okay. Secret to charisma, purpose. Once again, the bigger your purpose, the greater your charisma. You know. And you have to understand that most people in this world are, when you see them, when you interact with them, what you see are essentially protections and responses to past pain, if that makes sense, okay? So when you're talking to a woman, you're not talking to her true self at first. You're talking to her protection shield, essentially, okay? That's not her true self. You know, a lot of guys are like, I don't like beautiful women because they're so bitchy. Well, first of all, a beautiful woman, a really beautiful woman, lives in a completely different world than you and me as men, okay? And she's had many more approaches on a daily basis. Imagine you look really good and you're a beautiful woman, and literally like almost every guy out there wants something from you. At one point you would be like, fuck off, bro. I don't want to talk to you. Get the fuck off. Like, you know. So, and you're going to try to isolate the ones that are worthy of your attention as fast as possible. And you do that by just shooting shots energetically. You're testing energetically continuously for congruence, you know. So what I'm saying is, you need to be a man first and foremost. You need to become a real man. And that is important for psychic seduction. That is important for many other things. You know, it's always about this, you know, that's what a lot of people need to think about and get. It's about the beingness, then the doingness, and then the havingness. And that applies to everything. Magic, psychic seduction, you know, success in all areas of life. It's about a beingness. You have to be somebody first. When I say being somebody, once again, the way that is commonly used in society is basically, oh, is he somebody? Meaning, you know, what does he do? What are his connections? This and that. And the other. All of these things are byproducts of the beingness. You understand? And the beingness is first and foremost a certain energetic state, a certain clarity of your purpose and your energy field. First and foremost, your energy field is what creates all of these things. And when it comes to seduction, at least when you are the masculine pole, you know, and there are a lot of biological males that carry a lot of feminine energy, and there's nothing wrong with that. All I'm saying is like that's a different game. I'm talking, of course, to men that carry the masculine energy and women that carry the feminine energy. That's what I'm talking about here. I'm not saying that different things don't exist, but we're talking about that dynamic here. So it is your job to become strong enough, essentially. You have to become a man. That's it. Man. What does that mean? This is like another thing where people talk about you have to be a man, traditional family values, you go back into Christianity. No, it's not it. It's, once again, it's good if you lift weights, yes. It's good if you like, maybe you like guns, maybe you like a long beard. All this stuff is posture, you understand? All those people are posturing. They're trying to wear a costume, you know. This is energy, man, internally. You got to live for something greater than yourself. That's very important. And just received the message here. Good. I think I said everything that I wanted to say. You can fill in the details, but I gave you the outlines here, okay? So psychic seduction has many techniques, many tools. We can use language patterns, we can use body language, we can use this and that and the other, but none of that's going to work if you don't have the energy down. You have to have the energetic frame, and she has to fall into that. I'm going to describe the dynamic in a nutshell. She's protecting herself No, so this time, this is the feminine. She's protecting herself first and foremost, and internally, you have to understand she's not comfortable with being in this hard shell. She's trying to put out a hard shell. She's trying to, she has a long list of things that she thinks she wants, or this and that and the other. All of this is just talk because she's trying to protect herself. She's trying to protect her softness. And the feminine softness is so beautiful, but at the same time so vulnerable. Okay. So she's trying to protect herself. That's how she's moving through the world. Maybe she has a fucking corporate job and it's living hell. She's going through. She has to create the shell, and she's so disappointed by all these weak men that she had to face in her life, and and especially if she's beautiful, it's extra hard because now everybody's lying to her. She doesn't believe anything anymore. Everybody's just full of shit, and she pretends to know it all, like blah blah blah, right? It's a trauma response, essentially, right? What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to show up. If she starts testing you, that's a good sign. When you show up, let's say here, and you carry this energy field, there's not that much that you have to do. You just have to be in her proximity and relax, chill. Just be in your energy. Be in your frame. She's going to start testing you. She's going to throw, it could be body language. It could be, you could feel the energy. Even if she's not looking in your direction, you can feel her attention on you. And she's trying to figure out who this is. What is this? What is this? What is this? Then when it gets to talk, you don't have to talk that much. You just have to interact. You stay relaxed. You stay calm. You will get tests. Once again, tests. But once again, how could the moon hurt the sun? It doesn't exist. She's going to shoot shots at you. Like, why do you shave your hair? Do you really think that's the best choice of a beard? No, really. What kind of shoes are those? Oh, I think I saw them. Somebody else wore them. Something like, she's going to shoot shots at you. What she's trying is she's testing for congruence. If she had zero interest in you, she wouldn't even bother, but she would try her best to ignore you. When she's interacting with you, communicating with you, there's a minimum of interest. And the interest is she's going to test you. She's going to look for weakness in your field. That's what she's going to do. All you have to do is you have to literally be as solid as you're trying to pretend to be. You actually have to be that guy. You understand? That's where charisma comes from. That's where being cool comes from. It's not about posture. It's not about trying to be something that you're not. It's actually being that. It's an energy field. You understand? And the more you stay there, the more she's going to relax into your field. And what you're going to feel is that there's some magic that's going to take place. It's literally she's going to develop this fascination for you, and she's going to finally open up. She's going to soften, and you will feel the vibe soften, and her heart's going to start opening. Through her heart, then you can go down. Like if you want, even if it's a one-night stand, if it's passionate, the heart will be involved. It's very rare that you have sex with a woman that she wants to have with you where the heart is not involved. Okay, that energy center will open and then it goes down. All right. And actually, I don't agree with what a lot of guys teach where, as a man, you can completely cut that off. As a man, you can just be like about fucking her. Yeah, you can do that, but that doesn't feel good. Because you want a connection there too, actually, right? Because that makes it all the more better. You actually want to like the person that you want to have sex with, no? Or is that kind of like going to the bathroom? No, of course not. So as she softens, and you need to keep your heart open at all times, and you know what? When you walk through the world in your field, in your purpose, your heart will be open because that's your connection to communication with higher frequencies, you see? So that's when she's going to open and you're going to connect here and then here and then here. And this is a natural response. Sex is then a natural consequence. It's a gift that you share with each other. You give each other the gift of sex. It's not exploitative. It's like, oh, I got her, or I took this from her, or whatever, that's all the wrong mindset. It's all the wrong frame. You share this beautiful gift of being able to exchange these masculine and feminine energies. That's what you're doing. It's a beautiful thing, Now, obviously, this is not the mainstream view on that nowadays in this toxic culture, right? But this is how it's done correctly. And afterwards, there might something that she, especially if she had a boyfriend or something like that, or if she, like in this case, she has a boyfriend at home, she's traveling, and whatever, she met this tall, dark, and handsome stranger in Paris, and she had a great night with him. So there is a possibility that she's going to be like, oh my God, I cheated on my boyfriend. But she's not going to say that to her. She's going to, how do I say that? She's going to justify that in some way or another. And you got to understand that that's going to happen. So you got to give her, in the process of the seduction taking place, before you do anything physical, you have to give her plausible deniability, meaning you have to give her an explanation of what just took place. So it wasn't cheating on her boyfriend or her husband or anything. What took place was a spiritual ritual, almost like a tantra ritual, So in that context, once again, like being a magician, of course, comes in really handy, because if you, let's say, read cards for her and you exchange energy, you have all kinds of ways of explaining to her what's going on there without, making her feel bad, because you got to protect her in all ways. You even got to protect her from her own regret. It's just what it is. That's your job. Listen, I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not saying being a man is easy, but that's your job. You have to protect her even from herself, from her own regret. And this is going to give her kind of like the feeling of, okay, I'm still a good person. Yes, I had sex with this guy, even though my boyfriend is or my husband at home is doing this and that and the other. That's also, by the way, what takes place when you have an affair, a long-term relationship with that woman, or longer-term relationship with the woman. Yeah, she's gonna fuck you behind his back. Yes. The ethics of that we can discuss another time. But the point is, you gotta give her something else to interpret that through, So it's a tantric ritual. I actually do sex magic rituals with them, believe it or not, So it's not even a lie. It's not made up. And that's, once again, that's also important. You need to be congruent. You need to stay in truth. You need to stay connected with your purpose, you see. So there's a lot that goes into that, you understand? But it all starts with your identity and your character. This is what I said also in that group. You need to, there needs to be congruency, and you need to be a unique individual, a unique character. And this is what a lot of guys forget. They're all the same. They try to define themselves, like they all look the same, even like how they dress and all that shit, right? It's like this and that and the other. They're all the fucking same. If you were an actual beautiful woman that is extraordinarily beautiful, and beauty is obviously valuable because it's scarce and all that, right? And you had the choice you had the choice with so many different guys, and they all talk about the same shit, and all they want is just bust a nut and brag about how they had sex with you. Like, what would you do? What would you be looking for? You would look for an extremely unique individual, but this uniqueness needs to be coupled with survival value. Based on the man's uniqueness, he is able to survive better in this world. He needs to be stronger than her energetically. And it needs to be a fair exchange, meaning what she gets from that must be more than what she gives you. So if I psychically seduce a woman, I'm giving her an experience that she's not going to forget. I'm opening her to new spiritual ideas. And I'm transcending the physical for her, because that's her ego is being transcended, which is the root of her suffering. So I heal her. It's actually a healing that I'm doing as I'm having sex with her. And I do that with a lot of compassion. I do that from love, you see? I do that from love. And this is how psychic seduction works. It's not, once again, I talked about that in other videos. Most people interact in this world or act in this world as if they're taking things. That's not how you can interact in an ethical way in this world. You gotta take the law of exchange into consideration, all these things, right? But I don't want to do this video for too long. My coffee, once again, it's cold. This is, as you can see, another video without a script. I'm just talking, off the top of my head. But I'm hoping I was able to get a coherent message across. So this is one of the ingredients that you need for psychic seduction. If you want to learn more about psychic seduction, I'm going to leave the link for the Telegram group in the description under this video. And now I'm starting my day. It's already 10 a.m. And peace. Bye-bye.